I want you to imagine this. You're in a brand new social setting and you don't know anyone there. You want to start talking to new people because you don't want to have no friends. So let's say you are in a school environment. So let's say it's your first day of school. You want to start making new friends. You want to start talking to new people and you try to do just that. So it's your first day of school, your first day of class. You're in the classroom. You look to your left and you realize that the person there is on their phone with their headphones in and they look very busy. So you're like, okay, I'm not going to talk to them. So let me look to my right. The person on your right seems to be talking with a bunch of their friends and they seem very disinterested in talking to you. So what do you do in this situation? Keep overthinking it and you keep thinking that nobody wants to talk to you. And you keep psyoping yourself into thinking that no one wants to talk to you and you don't need to talk to anyone and that you're an introvert naturally and that you are a lone wolf and you don't need anyone, you don't need anything. And you just keep convincing yourself this, but when you go home, you come to the realization that you really want to make new friends. So unfortunately, this was an issue that I dealt with before. I remember in middle school, I was able to join a massive friend group with a bunch of friends and it was a very fun time. I knew everybody knew me. It was very good for my mental health and I was just generally a sociable person. But as time went on and the years went by, slowly as middle school started coming to an end and high school started, I was only left with one friend out of the bunch of friends that I had, and this really took a toll on me. This one friend that I had was very socially anxious themselves. I always noticed that they were afraid to do things and that kind of reflected into me. So eventually when I moved from that high school that I was in to a different high school, I kind of reflected the same traits that one friend I had into my future self in high school. And I found it very hard to actually make new friends. So I was very socially anxious and it was not a good time for me because I was just so afraid of socializing with people. I remember even getting to the extreme point where I would find a place where no one I knew would be around and I would sit there for lunch and I'd eat my lunch. And it wasn't even the fact that I didn't talk to people. When people talked to me, I was very defensive. I didn't like talking to people. My brain kind of turned off when people would start talking to me. I would shut down, I'd get defensive. It was a very rough time for me. I spent an entire year in this school being extremely anxious and without friends, and that really took a toll on my mental health. I was at the very bottom of the barrel when it came to my social life. I kept telling myself that I was an introvert and that I didn't need friends, and I was like a lone wolf, and these were all coping mechanisms so that I wouldn't hate myself for it. All of that changed when I came to the realization that this was a problem, and I was able to reverse engineer it. So much so that I would be able to go extended periods of time without not talking to people and then go back to it just as if nothing had changed. And believe me when I say this, you will lose your ability to talk to people if you don't do it. So I went through multiple phases of being socially anxious and coming back right from it, just using the methods that I will talk about in this video. So let's talk about where most people are at right now. The reason I made this video is because the more and more I talk to people, the more and more I realize that their situations are similar to mine. Now, obviously mine is very extreme and it's probably the most extreme it could get. But a lot of people shared some similarities when it came to social anxiety. So from talking to people, I always hear that they have problems with making new friends. Some of these people actually know that, their friends are bad for them and that they negatively influence them, but they can't really do anything about it because those are their only friends and they can't make any new ones that are better than them. And if this is you, don't worry. This is maybe 90% of people. This is a very common occurrence with people. So then you have to ask the question, why are most people there? Why are most people like that? Well, most people have actually locked themselves to a particular group of people because they don't have the initiative to actually talk to brand new people. And as we are social creatures, this stems from our evolutionary trait of the fear of rejection. So we don't want to be rejected by other people. We hold our status to a very extreme level, and any shattering of that status is very detrimental to our mental state. So in short, we don't want people to reject us. We don't want people to treat us badly. We just want to feel accepted all the time. Now, you may be asking, well, why is it important to talk to new people? Well, people are your gateway to success. So a lot of the time, people will lead you in the right direction and get you where you want to be. So let's say, for example, you have just gone into the gym. Say you took the advice given in this video and you started talking to professional bodybuilders in the gym that you want to be like. More often than not, those bodybuilders, if you befriend them, they'll kind of give you advice. They'll kind of put you towards the right direction and they'll set you up for success because they know what it takes to get there and they've been through that process and they want to help people. People naturally want to help each other. So that's why being friends with people who have what you want to have is a very important thing that you can do to shortcut your success. Additionally, it's also very important to talk to new people because it actually helps you a lot with your confidence and your self-image, and it also has a lot of psychological benefits. So now that you've come to the realization that you can't make any new friends and that making new friends is important, you might be asking, well, how do I actually do it? So I know this might seem very weird, but you're going to want to talk to people intentionally. You're going to want to talk to people with intent. So I'm going to give you a metaphorical situation. So say you've joined a brand new gym, and back to the bodybuilder example, you find a bodybuilder that you want to befriend so that you can learn how they got there and how you can get there. You see them working out, they're all busy and they have their headphones in like everyone at the gym, and you just don't know how to confront them. Now, my advice to you is you wait for them to finish their set and then you go up to them. A lot of people will overcomplicate the first word that you say to someone, but in reality, the first word that you say to someone never matters. They'll probably forget that because they're just so overwhelmed by the fact that you just came to them out of nowhere, and it's not like they're overanalyzing exactly the words that you're saying. So you could even say like something stupid, like say they're wearing a red shirt, you could be like, hey, I like your red shirt. Or you notice that it's the bodybuilder that we talked about before. You could be like, hey man, you're really big. And then from there, you can start a conversation. Now, the first word is what will scare you off and what will stop you from doing it. So what you want to do is whenever you get the intrusive thought of talking to someone brand new, you just want to command your legs to walk. So you just want to command your legs to just walk over to that person and talk to them. So once you do this, it'll kind of be weird if you just stand there looking at them without talking. So you will say something. And what this something is doesn't matter. So you most likely just make it up on the spot and it never matters. So this is how you talk to someone brand new. And obviously if you keep doing this, if you keep talking to them, it'll eventually become a friendship and you can get close to them and befriend them. Now, a lot of people will actually want you to talk to them, and this is something that you will tell yourself and you will try to convince yourself otherwise from. If it's hard for you to imagine this to be possible, just imagine yourself in a public setting and imagine someone walks up to you, compliments you, and you make a new friend. Wouldn't that be an awesome experience? It would, right? So why wouldn't the people that you confront want to have a conversation with you? A lot of people will. That's the thing you'll want to convince yourself, just so you don't do it, just so you don't get rejected, just so and there's no possibility that the other person will just reject you and not want to talk to you. To summarize, the way to actually do it is to command your legs to walk whenever you have the thought that you want to talk to that person. Command your legs to walk. The first sentence doesn't matter. Compliment them, and there you go. You have a conversation, and in the future you can keep on talking to those same people in order to befriend them, and that's how you do it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and a comment. What this does is it actually tells the algorithm that people like you enjoy watching these videos and therefore will recommend these videos to more people like you, so that in the future more people like you are actually helped out by videos like these, and you just end up making the world a more positive, loving place. Other than that, take care.